Aisling Fitzgibbon, guiding you to come home to yourself, your true place of power.
So hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me for my episode of Aisling's Holistic Health Show. Today I have a special guest, Nadia Cruikshanks, and Nadia is an owner and designer of the company Moobles and Toobles, and she is producing organic baby clothes here in Ireland. And I'm very excited for you to get to know her work and where she is and what she's offering us. So thank you so much, Nadia, for joining me.
Hi.
So Nadia, tell me, how did you think to start up an organic baby clothing company? Because, you know, this is not a typical thing. So I was like, you know, when I first saw your website, I was like, oh, I need to talk to this person. Your stuff is really beautiful. So let me know how you got into it.
It didn't start as organic. Basically, I'm an NCAD graduate, and it was just me. I wanted to get back into printing. Okay. So I have a degree in printed textiles. So I had a baby and I was sketching and stuff, and my father-in-law was a t-shirt printer back in the 80s, and he said, I've all the equipment, everything here, he was actually nagging me to get started again. Yeah. So I got some baby blanks, and we developed a couple of screens, and I just started to print, and I opened an Etsy store. And then what I did was I had a look around to see where I could get maybe some craft stores that might take my prints. And I started selling in Jam Art Factory in 2 stores in the city centre. And I was like, this is amazing. But it kind of grew. And then I started to have people ask me, do I wholesale? So I decided I have to find a manufacturer, because I want to have my own tags. I want to have and I wanted to have shapes that I could easily print, because it's difficult. You have to, I have a system where I put a board into the romper, and then I want a flat surface to print on. So I made a few sketches and a few designs, and I went searching for manufacturers, and I found a manufacturer, and it just kind of went from there. So.
Amazing. So you didn't actually start off. So tell us, how did you? Because I know you have your own place. Like, is it in India you're linked with, and they're actually producing the clothing?
I was linked with a European producer, and then they, like, companies come and go. So I searched, and I found I approached a few different places who sent me samples, and then I went with the one which was the best, which felt. So like they're manufacturing for me now, and they are a certified organic and fair trade and everything. Absolutely.
They're doing it as it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's much more expensive to have GOTS certified organic clothing. Because it's every process. You can't put the stamp on if it's just fabric. It has to be every single process from finish, how it leaves the factory, everything. So it's because if you each say consignment has a certificate number, and you can actually search the number to see if it's got certified.
Really?
Yeah, it's all very complicated.
Yeah, but that's good to know, as in, like, it's not just, you know, any person can just get a stamp. That it's actually, there's quite a lot in the process to actually prove that it is.
Yeah, like they have to, there's certain labour laws and different things. Like it's not just the quality of the fabric or how picked or whatever the cotton picked. It's every single process.
Yeah. So what has been the reaction, I suppose, to, that you're producing, like, say, the organic baby clothing? Is that something that you find, like, consumers are more looking for, or, what's the kind of feedback from your like customers at the moment?
Yes, people come to me looking for organic, and most of my customers are Irish. When I started, most of my customers were Australian, and I had an Australian agent who was wholesaling for me. And now I find it's actually come back now, where my direct sales and everything, it's most Irish and some from the UK. Like, my main customers are Dublin and Cork. Yeah, people are looking for organic, because I've stocked Avoca as well. And it's definitely, if you Google organic baby clothing Ireland, I'll kind of pop up as one of the first.
You're the top. You're the top in the ranking. Yeah.
It must be what people are Googling. That's what they want, you know. Like I've had people buy, I did blankets last season, and I've had ladies buy blankets to make sleeping bags for their, say, grandkids who have eczema and stuff like that. Fabric, and it's to do it as well, the colour as well. Some people don't like, a lot of organic clothing is really super colourful, and some people just want something that's a little bit more low-key and gender neutral stuff. And so definitely to do with the eczema and organic and the feel of the fabric, you know, because I have sold stuff, I've put stuff up for sale on the website that was printed that wasn't organic. It was cheaper and it didn't sell.
So interesting, isn't it? Yeah, so it's not necessarily just to do about the cost, it's more about what people are actually looking for in you know,
yeah, and it's I find the better it has to be a really good quality fabric as well. I find people send me pictures of children that are like, this is hand me down, this belonged to her cousin and now it's hers, and I love to see that, because it's not only about the fabric and the process, it's about the reuse, you know. I test my prints and I try and see how well they wash, and I seem to go wash after wash, because like people don't want to put something in a t-shirt printer back in the 80s, and he said, I've all the equipment, everything here, he was actually nagging me to get started again. So I bought some baby blanks, and we developed a couple of screens, and I just started to print, and I opened an Etsy store. And then what I did was I had a look around to see where I could get maybe some craft stores that might take my prints, and I started selling in Jam Art Factory in 2 stores in the city centre, and I was like, this is amazing. But it kind of grew, and then I started to have people ask me, do I wholesale? So I decided I have to find a manufacturer, because I want to have my own tags. I want to have my own, and I wanted to have shapes that I could easily print, because it's difficult. You have to, I have a system where I put a board into the romper, and then I want a flat surface to print on. So I made a few sketches and a few designs, and I went searching for manufacturers, and I found a manufacturer, and it just kind of went from there. So.
Amazing. So you didn't actually start off. So tell us, how did you? Because I know you have your own place. Like, is it in India? You're linked with, and they're actually producing the clothing.
I was linked with a European producer, and then they, like, companies come and go. So I searched, and I found I approached a few different places who sent me samples, and then I went with the one which was the best, which felt, you know. So like they're manufacturing for me now, and they are a certified organic and fair trade and everything. Absolutely.
They're doing it as it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's much more expensive to have GOTS certified organic clothing, because it's every process. You can't put the stamp on if it's just fabric. It has to be every single process from finish, how it leaves the factory, everything. So it's because if you each say consignment has a certificate number, and you can actually search the number to see if it's got certified.
Really?
Yeah, it's all very complicated.
Yeah, but that's good to know, as in, like, it's not just, you know, any person can just get a stamp. You know, that there's quite a lot in the process to actually prove that it is.
Yeah, like they have to, there's certain labour laws and different things. Like it's not just the quality of the fabric or how picked or whatever the cotton picked. It's every single process, you know?
Yeah. So what has been the reaction, I suppose, to, you know, that you're producing, like, say, the organic baby clothing? Is that something that you find like consumers are more looking for, or, you know, what's the kind of feedback from your like customers at the moment?
Yes, people come to me looking for organic, and most of my customers are Irish. When I started, most of my customers were Australian, and I had an Australian agent who was wholesaling for me, and now I find it's actually come back now, where my direct sales and everything, it's most Irish and some from the UK. Like my main customers are Dublin and Cork. Yeah, people are looking for organic, because I've stocked a Avoca as well, and it's like, it's definitely, if I suppose if you Google organic baby clothing Ireland, I'll kind of pop up as one of the first.
You're the top. You're the top in the ranking. Yeah.
It must be what people are Googling. That's what they want, you know. Like I've had people buy, I did blankets last season, and I've had ladies buy blankets to make sleeping bags for their, say, grandkids who have eczema and stuff like that. Fabric, and it's to do it as well, the colour as well. Some people don't like, a lot of organic clothing is really super colourful, and some people just want something that's a little bit more low-key and gender neutral stuff. And so definitely to do with the eczema and organic and the feel of the fabric, you know, because I have sold stuff, I've put stuff up for sale on the website that was printed that wasn't organic. It was cheaper and it didn't sell.
So interesting, isn't it? Yeah, so it's not necessarily just to do about the cost, it's more about what people are actually looking for in you know.
Yeah, and it's I find the better it has to be a really good quality fabric as well. I find people send me pictures of children that are like, this is hand me down, this belonged to her cousin and now it's hers, and I love to see that, because it's not only about the fabric and the process, it's about the reuse, you know. I test my prints and I try and see how well they wash, and they seem to go wash after wash, because like people don't want to put something that looks bad or raggedy on their child either.
No, yes.
I want my clothing to have a really good lifespan. And I'd like to see, like, there's so many resale sites as well, groups on Facebook where people like to resell organic clothing and stuff, and I think that's fantastic, because it's not ending up on landfill, it's ending on child after child, and that's just brilliant, you know. And that's one of the best things I like to see hand me down like on kids and stuff, you know.
Yeah, it's lovely, because I think it's like, I suppose it's we've so gotten used to this kind of culture of just buy things off the, you know, high street, and it lasts for like 1 or 2 seasons, whatever, even if you're young, like, as in like they don't have long lasting longevity. So it's like, if you actually, I suppose, invest money initially into the product, into the clothing, that you'll get far more out of it than you would have if you just bought something that was much cheaper in cost, but actually you just don't get the wares out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like if you look at some, like, say, some of the brands that really inspire me, well, they did inspire me when my little one was younger, and say Mini Rodini, and people buy and sell their pre-loved Mini Rodini or any other brand like that. Like a lot of the Scandinavian brands, they last so long, and people actually go and search for pieces. They're like, oh, this is from a couple of seasons ago, where can I get this, and is someone doing this, you know? So I just think it makes more sense. Waste is a huge problem. Like landfill it's a bigger problem. Like, I know I like organic cotton as well, because I have just issues with the farmers. A lot of farmers that work with non-organic cotton, they suffer from lymphoma. They're getting cancers from working around it as well. So I suppose the more of that goes in landfill, the more of it's made, and it's just to do with that as well, not only just the process of organic cotton. I'm not very good at explaining myself.
No, as in, like, it's far more reaching than just the clothing that you're wearing. It's actually, I suppose, like, you're voting with the money that you spend every day, and, like, you know, where we put our money towards. So it's like, if you're putting the money towards the non-organic cotton, you're then part of the whole environmental cost of, like, what, you know, they're spraying pesticides, I'm sure, and the farmers are obviously having their health impacted. So it's like, even though it might be benefiting companies selling cheaper products, at the end of the day it's costing everyone.
Yeah, and it's just, I think the world needs to slow. I know the term slow fashion, everyone
slow it down.
Everything needs to slow down. There needs to be less sold, less pushed out, less produced, and less dumped. Because that's what's causing the problem, this constant dumping, you know. And like, I know everybody needs to work and people need to have jobs, but like, the companies that sell the really, really cheap stuff, they don't even make a big margin. The margins are tiny, but they just literally shell things out, like so many products, and a lot of products just end up in clothes banks and then dumped, and there's just too much clothes being made. We need to
Yeah.
have good quality items that will be passed down or will be worn to death, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
As the older I get, like the waste thing, it just really bothers me, you know.
Yeah, definitely, the whole like zero waste. And it's like, because I suppose it's becoming, as you say, the older you get, the more you're aware that, you know, you're here, but also you're here to help the future generations, and, you know, your kids and their kids, and, you know, how they're going to experience the world in generations from this point.
Yeah, like my 5-year-old even won't, she knows straws are just evil. She won't
Yeah, don't use the plastic.
she asked me about it one day, and I just said to her, look, they end up in the sea and they end up killing the creatures in the sea. So she then decided to relay that to her grannies and kids in her class, and say woods as well. I showed her the picture of the seahorse with the cotton bud, and it's just awful, you know.
Oh, I know. Yeah, but I think where all this comes down to and boils down to really is us all, like, for me, it's a huge part of my life and what I'm doing, but for all of us, becoming more conscious of the things that we choose and how they impact us. You know, obviously I'm going to focus on how they impact the health of our physical health, but also it's like that's interconnected with our environment.
Yeah.
And the rivers and the lakes and stuff like that. But I think it's like we're coming out of an amnesia of this, like, you know, just as you say, just keep producing, keep churning, keep buying.
Yeah.
It's almost like a collective madness that we're kind of like, you know, slowly kind of rising out of it and kind of realizing, there's actually a different way to do things, and we can still make money and we can still run businesses. We can do it in a different way. We can innovate.
Yeah, it's like a fog. It's like people are the fog is starting to clear, you know, because I think people are starting to get a little bit weary of the idea of genetically modified food. Like, you know, I was horrified to hear that they're going to like introduce genetically modified fish. Like, the fish is bad enough with the mercury in it, you know, or even seedless grapes. Like, they're infertile grapes that can't grow anymore. So if you're eating seedless grapes, are you going to become seedless?
Yeah.
People would say, is she crazy? But it kind of makes sense, you know. Like, just avoid seedless grapes even, you know.
Yeah.
It's organic I wouldn't touch milk that's not organic. And I know a lot of people won't even touch milk, but milk is very beneficial. I find it very beneficial. I drank it while I was pregnant and all, but I only ever touched organic. When you actually see the process that goes into a lot of these foods, it's just my father-in-law actually grows wild vegetables out the back.
Oh yeah.
They even taste better. He grows strawberries out the back, and they send them up to us. We get to eat them all organic, you know.
Yeah. The way nature intended. I think it's like, because I think people hear the word organic and they think, oh, that's just like a trend, or it's like for people who have loads of money, or, you know, it's like a kind of a passing thing. But it's like, you know, I've interviewed a lady, she has an organic shop, and I was asking her, like, what is organic? And she was like, it's just the way things used to be before we started putting chemicals on them and, you know, interfering with the processes.
Yeah, and I think it's been so gradual that people forget. Like, even look at the apples. You go into a supermarket and you get a normal apple, and it's dull, say a red apple. When I grew up in the 80s, the red apples were so shiny. They didn't have this waxy layer on them. You know, you didn't have to soak stuff in vinegar if you wanted to eat it, you know. So I just don't understand how we've all just accepted that that's the way fruit and veg are now. It's just it just baffles me now, you know. And I wouldn't be like it's strict organic. I do the best I can, you know. But it's just crazy how it's got to this, you know.
Yeah, completely. Which is why it's so important. Even like the knock-on effect of what your company and your brand is about, you know, producing organic cotton baby clothing. It's like, that's also part of, you know, that's part of the kind of light bulbs going off in the head. You know, it kind of starts to spark things. It's like, once you start to spark things, and then, you know, it's like we all spark each other, you know, ideas start coming through, and then it's possible to do things differently.
Yeah, and I think as well, I think sometimes it's down to budget too. You'll work with what you have. Like, I started with nothing, so I was accidentally environmentally friendly. I didn't have giant studios full of equipment. I didn't have a space that could take plastisol inks. So
Yeah.
I had to use water-based inks, and I used the wooden screens that I still use 20-year-old screens. And there's hardly any waste really, you know, and you can't, I've perfected how my little methods, and I have my little tools that I use. So I don't make mistakes. Like, very seldom do I make a mistake. People ask me, like, and even when I bumped into a tutor that I had in college, and she's like, how do you not make mistakes? I said, well, I do, but then I don't. You know, I've spent hours hand painting something that I thought wasn't perfect until it looked perfect, because you don't want to leave room. You don't want to throw these expensive pieces of fabric in the bin.
Yeah.
You have to work with what you have.
Mm-hmm.
So there's hardly any waste. I get as many images on a screen as I can. I mask off the screen, and I have different ways of cleaning my screen, so I don't use too much water, but I still get the desired effect, and I get, because I'm a perfectionist, I get the look that I want, that I'm proud of. But if you don't throw so much at it, you won't waste as much. That's my opinion anyway.
That's lovely. That's wonderful. And in terms of, so you're obviously online, so people can find you online on your website, mooblesandtoobles.com.
Yeah.
And orders, so yeah, we can order online, but also you have places in Dublin that people can go into. Is there stores that we can find you in?
Yeah, I'm in a couple of the Voga stores. I'm sold out of Rathcoole. I'm still in town. I'm in Tampa and Stitch in city centre. You know, when people ask me where I'm stocked, I actually can't remember. I just put my stockists on the website for obvious reasons. Any company, small company like me, will tell you why we don't do that, so I won't get into that. But yeah, I'm kind of around Ireland, and I've new stockists in the USA and coming up, and some new UK ones, Sweden, Netherlands, yeah, I'm dotted around a few places. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. So we'll put all the links anyway, so people can easily find you. But also, yeah, so you were telling me before we started recording that you have a new collection that's going to be coming out very soon.
Yes. Yeah, I have. We released it for wholesale, and it's literally gone back down to my roots of sketching and drawing. I was always drawing all my life, so I just decided I was going to. It's all based around art and nature and animals, and the main prints are elephants and hummingbirds and pandas and frogs. So I pick something that I'm really passionate about, and if I'm happy with some drawing and sketching that I've done, that's when I bring it forward and make a collection from it. So I'm crazy about the animals again, you know. So I think my husband, my husband's uncle died suddenly last year, and he loved elephants, and that's probably just, elephants are just on my mind, because we go to my mother-in-law's house. It's gorgeous elephant pictures and stuff like that. So that's probably the reason why the main print is elephants this time. But it's just based. I'm really lucky that I don't have to pay an illustrator. I can just draw myself.
Yeah.
I just decided to just whatever took my fancy to do it. So
yeah.
This collection is the animals of the bamboo forest.
Beautiful, lovely. And what are the kind of ages, so that you're
from 0 to 18 years?
Yeah.
So that's people have asked me before, oh, can you not do older? But I think the younger stuff, just for our brand, we're associated with baby wear. I do plan to bring some preemie sizes in eventually, but I think I'll stick to the younger for now. But we've some new things. I'm going to introduce leggings, and we had dresses a couple of seasons ago that I want to bring back that really quickly. So I'm really excited about the leggings. Yeah.
And have you ever had like a baby fashion show? Just to be, was that ever? Have you ever like displayed it with babies?
No, I have amazing brand reps who take great pictures, and then I have babies who I've had proper photo shoots as well. I've used a great photographer, Greg Dorney. He's an Irish photographer, and he comes and he sets up wherever you are, and he's been brilliant. So if anyone needs a photographer, Greg is brilliant. He does great product shots too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have some amazing brand reps as well. And like, I come from a background of visual merchandising and kind of fashion. I worked in Brown Thomas and that, and I just can't see how it would logistically work with babies kind of being carried down a catwalk.
I know. I was thinking, has it ever been done? I was just like, it would be quite hilarious.
Yeah, I'm sure it is done. Yeah, I'm sure. But imagine like dirty nappies and crying.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it would be a bit mad. Yeah. The logistics of it might be, too challenging maybe.
Yeah, and with my age range as well, like I remember having a 3-month-old, especially breastfed. You need to have tons of changes of clothes to them in case nature calls.
Yeah.
So,
I know, brilliant. And is there any special way that people need to wash them, or is it just literally like a standard wash?
throw them in the machine, or hand wash them, 40 degrees. They're easy care. Now, I don't advise people tumble dry them, but that's not to do with my clothing. I just don't use a tumble dryer. I don't have a tumble dryer. I think it's so bad for clothes, and it's just a waste as well. Tumble dry, if unless you've like got 20 kids and you can't have wet washing everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but no, they're pretty easy care. And you can iron onto the print as well. They're not one of these. It's not plastisol, it's not plastic inks, so they won't stick to the iron. They're just pretty easy.
Brilliant. Lovely. We'll be checking them out anyway. So thank you so much for your time today, and I'm really happy to introduce your work out to more people and hopefully build awareness of how your work is making a difference, not just for buying baby clothes, but also for the message and the environmental benefit that it's also bringing.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great stuff. Thanks.